Hello, you are currently listening to Crayfish in Brazil, and with me always is my good friend Space. This is episode 8 of the cartoon ranking tier list, going over the shows that got 0 votes that start with the letter L. First up, we got Lassie. Now, Lassie, it's not very good. Everybody knows Lassie, right? You know, the dog Lassie. Well, there's a show.
I know the dog.
There's a cartoon show about Lassie, the dog. It's about this girl who works in a animal rescue station. She has a bunch of animals that help people, and Lassie is the main one. Now, the super interesting thing about this show is kind of like the show Horseland, where the humans, they're doing their own thing, but then there's a group of funny talking animals. The humans can't understand them, but the animals, they all have voices and talk to each other. So a good chunk of the episode is dedicated to these animals that are talking to each other. And boy, these animals, they're super funny. Take my word for it. They're definitely not annoying at all. I swear.
Everybody loves cheeky talking animal characters. That's a known fact about fiction.
Honestly, the plot with the human, it wasn't that bad, but I couldn't stand the other talking animal characters.
I'm a man who loves animals, but there's no faster way to make me hate a critter than by making it speak in a human voice.
I mean, it can be done well.
It can be. Caveat, it often is not.
Last Man. This is a good show. We finally got another good show up in here. Last Man.
Big double fucking thumbs up. This show is a straight banger. I've only seen season 1 because I'm saving season 2 for a rainy day because I liked season 1 that much. But this is a really good show based on a really good and very niche, somewhat obscure French comic of the same name. But it is a prequel to that comic, and why don't you go to the plot details?
Yeah, so the plot details, it's about this down-on-his-luck boxer who has to do odd jobs to keep himself fed, but he's kind of an asshole and nobody likes him. But he ends up tangled into this big conspiracy involving hunting and catching demons. There's a whole bunch of demons that have possessed humans in the city that he lives in, and he has to track them all down, and also protect this little girl who is involved in the whole paranormal demon affair. So it's got boxing, it's got demons that all have unique powers. This show, I think, does a very good job of presenting high stakes. It is very suspenseful.
The action is great. I think that the animation, the art style are also terrific. It's animated by a man named Jeremy Perrin, who is a French artist and animator. And if you're like us and you grew up in the early 2000s, you may remember the Pool music video. And if you're like us, or me, I can't really speak for Brazil here.
I've seen the Pool music video.
Yeah, you've seen the Pool music video. But that combination of words will instantly have you knowing what I'm talking about if you've seen it before in your life. It's animated by that guy, which I think that music video is like a very well done short horror sequence. But all the shit in Last Man, the horror elements with the different demons and monsters the main character is forced to fight, are kind of on that level. Like Brazil said, it is a very, very suspenseful show. It will have you on the edge of your seat. The episodes are really short, so it's easy to kind of churn through them really quickly. I believe they're only like 10 minutes in length. It's not a very long show, at least not the first season. But it is a good show, and one that I think sticks with you for a while after you've seen it. At least it did for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I normally don't go for this kind of stuff, like the horror aspect of it, but this one does a good enough job. And it doesn't have a high budget. Like, the animation and art style is good, but this is a Verve original. Remember Verve?
I will say, I believe this did originally air on networks in France, but international distribution was picked up by Verve.
You know, you might be right about that. Maybe it's not a Verve original. I just remember that it was
that's
on
what I
Verve.
remember, is that yes, it was on Verve.
That's where I first heard about it.
If I'm not mistaken, this did hit syndication in France and then internationally was released on Verve. And not many people saw it at all.
It is very adult, and it's French, so it is a very horny show.
Most French shows are very horny, and I'm sure we'll get to other like strong instances of that later. But I think for the what this show is and the kind of plot it's trying to do, it can be a little gratuitous sometimes, but I don't think it really distracts from it or hurts the quality of the show at all.
Yes, I would recommend Last Man. It's a good show.
Great big 2 thumbs up from me.
Next is Lavender Castle. I'm putting it in eh. That might be a little high. This is a weird show. This is a trippy fever dream of a show that doesn't feel real. Like, this doesn't feel like something that should exist. I mean, just look at it.
You're right. I kind of love this one, just for that exact reason. But it is a very hard show to rank, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to rank. It's a little hard to watch, but there is something about it that's just so bizarre and weird, like a who made this kind of way that I'm just kind of drawn to. Only seen one episode. I don't know if I'll continue watching it, but it is very unique compared to everything else on here. It kind of has like a weird Jim Henson, like Dark Crystal feel to it, in my opinion.
It very much does, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I like it. It's very strange. You hear people say this about things a lot, and usually I don't think it's true, but I really do think, at least in the sphere of like fully animated shows that aren't like live action using puppets or practical effects like Jim Henson stuff, I don't think there's anything else like it. So for that reason, it is probably worth at least viewing a single episode of.
I think you'll agree with me on this one, but I think I am going to give Lavender Castle the Individual Achievement Award out of everything on this tier list, biggest fever dream.
I fully agree. This one actually gets an endorsement from me. I think that this is a show where you will either like it, hate it, or not know what to think about it. I personally like it.
I don't know if I don't like watching it. I especially don't like the guy with an eyeball inside of his big ol' nose. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that guy. But it's fascinating. I don't like watching it, but I like that it exists, if you know what I mean.
I like the presentation of it. I just like the weird little world that it has. It's very strange and very memorable. It is dreamlike in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it does.
It's a fever dream.
Yes. Next up is League of Super Evil, and this one's not very good.
How can you fucking say that when it has Dr. Frog, you fucking piece of shit?
Now, this show, its claim to fame, at least for me, I mean, I did see it whenever it aired on Cartoon Network that one time. Back in,
one time. They only put on one episode.
Yeah, they only showed one episode of this, ever. This show came out in, like, the early 2010s, but then in, like, the mid-2010s, there were memes about Dr. Frog. Just all they were doing is essentially just making posts about Dr. Frog and glazing him. He's just this character from this obscure show that nobody really cares about. Stay up Dr. Frog posting all day, all night.
Honestly, I don't see how you couldn't put this one in life-changing.
I mean, it does have Dr. Frog, but other than that ironic aspect of it, just making fun of the show a little bit just by making memes about Dr. Frog. On its own, the show is not very good. It's about this team of villains. They're just pathetic. They do like little petty, not even really crimes, but it's not an original concept. I mean, they were kind of just riding off the coattails of other stuff, like, Despicable Me, Megamind, Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb.
I will say, I think that this show, and take this with a grain of salt, I think this show may have come out before a lot of those, but I was going to chime in with what you said about it not being original, because when you look at the lineup of the cast of supervillains, you've got the little, like, pint-sized, scheming, shit-headed one, the tall, lanky, nervous nerd, and then you've got, like, the big, fucking lug-headed, stupid one. This is just Ed, Edd n Eddy. This is just Ed, Edd n Eddy with a superhero paint job.
You're right about that. You're also right that it did come out before Despicable Me and Megamind, so I can't believe that I can't believe this, folks. You're not gonna like this, but Megamind and Despicable Me ripped off League of Super Evil. I know,
knew it from fucking day one. Megamind is a ripoff of Dr. Frog, and he always has been.
I can't believe that. I gotta write a retraction. Well, even though that, Megamind ripped off League of Super Evil, I think they did a better job because League of Super Evil is just not that funny. It's kind of annoying.
Can you really say it did a better job when they don't even have the rights to, like, fucking Dr. Frog?
Yeah, I
The
can.
one thing people cared about. I was gonna say, the show kind of sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Hence why it's only not very good.
Yeah.
It does have an art style.
Yeah, I think it's just funny to make fun of the show. It's not like horrible or anything. It's just like a kind of generic cartoon.
It's just one of those extremely forgettable pieces of acquired Cartoon Network programming, but I don't think it's terrible on the same level as something like Chopsocky Chooks, which I think lives on in more infamy, both because of the really funny, like, green text we couldn't find, and just because look at the characters. Rest in peace, League of Super Evil. You've been forgotten to time, like tears in the rain.
At this point, we would be getting into the shows that start with the word legend. There's a whole bunch of shows that start with the word legend, and we would be getting into those. But first, we got to talk about The Legend of 1900, which is the miscellaneous recommendation for this episode. The Legend of 1900, which is a live-action movie, but not just any live-action movie. It is my personal favorite movie that's ever been made. Now, The Legend of 1900 is a movie about this guy who is born on a boat, on an ocean liner, in the year 1900. This boat, it's kind of like the Titanic, it's an ocean liner, like, cruise vessel, but it's not the Titanic, okay? It's not that one. It's a different boat. But he grows up on this boat, he's born on it, and grows up on it, and he never steps foot on land. The plot of the movie is him dealing with that and living on this boat forever. He could leave if he wanted to, but the movie gets into that. It is a very touching movie. There's only 2 movies that have ever made me cry. There's this one, and then the other one was WALL-E. But this movie is my favorite movie ever made. It is very obscure, I would think. It made the mistake of coming out within the same year as Titanic. So everybody just kind of thought that it was going to rip off Titanic. It's another movie about a guy on a boat. So it's a ripoff of Titanic. Of course it is. But no, I like this movie more than Titanic, which is controversial. But I would highly recommend you check this movie out for yourself. Oh yeah, and another thing is we started this tradition of doing the recommendation all the way back in episode 2 with the bees, with the Baku series, but we never did anything for anything that started with the letter A or that started with a number. So I'd rather go ahead and just do them now rather than wait until it loops back again and we get to the shows that actually have a vote for them. So the thing I'm going to recommend that starts with a number is 1000 Players Simulate Civilization Rich and Poor. It is a YouTube video made in 2025 by Ish. The guy's name is Ish. And it's a Minecraft video. It's a Minecraft YouTube video, but hold on there. Hold on. Trust me when I say that this movie, and it is a movie, is one of the best movies that came out in 2025. It's 1000 real-life players in Minecraft on a server, divided up onto 2 islands. One island has a whole bunch of resources and the other one has nothing. And they build their own countries, and they have politics and lore. And there's recurring characters that each have their own ongoing storylines that connect with each other, and it's all done through Minecraft roleplay. And none of it is scripted. Everything that happens is because the players do it, and it is unironically an extremely well done story. I highly recommend it. You don't want to miss it. This is high cinema right here. It just happens to take place in Minecraft, because that's the only way that it could have ever been done. You can't do something like this in real life, so you had to do it in Minecraft, and that's the proper way to tell the story. Also, I might be a little bit biased, because I was in the event myself. I still recommend it nonetheless. Go check it out. I'm sure that Space can attest to its quality.
It's pretty good.
See what I mean? And now, Space, you had something. I took over the L and the number, so I'll let you take over whatever starts with the letter A. What do you recommend that starts with the letter A?
Oh, yeah. Now, before we get into talking about all these other things that start with legend, There's two other important things that start with legend that we gotta talk about, and that's Legend of Zelda, Wand of Gamelon, and Legend of Zelda, Link and the Faces of Evil. Now, if you're like us, and you grew up on the internet, you probably know what a YouTube poop is, and you're familiar with these two games. You know about the cutscenes. You know about the funny cutscenes. You know about Morshu. You know about going at Squadilla! You know all of this. I don't have to tell you. Now, what you may also know about these games is that they're famously dog shit, borderline unplayable, which brings us to the A recommendation. Arzette and the Jewel of Faramore. It is a spiritual successor to Link in the Faces of Evil and Zelda the Wand of Gamelon. However, the creator of this one tried something new and novel with the premise, which is, what if we made them a good game? See, this game, in a lot of ways, is like a love letter to YouTube poops, which are an art form, and I do think they're an art form, that is very near and dear to me. It has hand-animated cutscenes, much in the same style as the aforementioned two games that inspired it. It's got uncanny dialogue voice acting. They even got some of the original voice actors from the CDI Zelda games to play NPCs in the game. And it actually plays well. It's an extremely well-presented, good little indie game made by a small team. And I can't sing its praises highly enough. It is absolutely a very fun, memorable little love letter to two extremely shitty games that I hold very dear to me.
Well said. Continuing on. Continuing on with the shows that start with the letter L and got 0 votes. With all the ones that start with the word legend. There's a lot of these, so hold on, let's see here. Starting with The Legend of Calamity Jane. This one, it's going all the way up in good. This is the definition of a hidden gem. I had no idea that this show existed prior to doing this tier list, and it is one of the only ones that I have watched every episode of because of how impressed I was by it. This is a 90s Western animated show. It is 90s, right? Is it 90s or early 2000s?
Yes, it is 90s. That makes it all the more impressive given how good the animation is for the time. To say nothing of how good the art style is.
Oh, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of The Batman or shows like that. It also kind of reminds me of, I think it had a relation to that Arsene Lupin show that...
It's like that one, but good.
Yeah, this show very much impressed me with how good... They're all just little episodic stories, but they all center on the protagonist, Calamity Jane, based off of the real figure from history, Calamity Jane, except they take some creative liberties with how her character looks and behaves as opposed to how she did in real life. But I really like the character of Calamity Jane in this.
She's terrific. She's great. She's the best part of the whole show, probably.
Yeah, sometimes she's just effortlessly a badass who can handle evil Westerners with 0 effort at all, just cracks a whip at them, they drop their guns, and she kicks them and they get arrested. But other times, in every episode, she gets put through the ringer. She gets her teeth knocked in just as much as the villains in the show. And I think that's very impressive. I think that's a good choice, but it really makes you root for this character. And watching them struggle, as well as getting just easy victories, really makes this character seem cool. The way how much she's able to climb herself out of the muck and end up on top after everything that she's been through in all these episodes.
This show really is a hidden gem. And another really interesting thing about its production is that for many years, you could not watch this. Large portions of the show, if not the entire show, were lost media until as recently as a few years ago. It has since been recovered, and every episode is available. It only had 1 season. The only knock I can take against this show is that I wish there was more of it.
Yes.
There are only so many episodes, and what we got was terrific. This show kicks so much ass. It is wonderful. Highly recommend. Just like Last Man, this one is a complete banger. Just double thumbs up, big space seal of approval. This one's really good and is worth your time.
Gets the Brazil seal of approval as well. If it's good enough for me to never hear about it before and then just go through and watch every episode of it. There's only, I think, 13 episodes of it, but I don't think that there was a single bad episode.
Some were better than others, and I think that the really, really good episodes of this show are like fantastic level, but there is not a bad episode in the bunch.
And next is The Legend of Tarzan. You've seen the movie Tarzan, the Disney one. This is a continuation of that. It's the same characters, takes place after the first movie. It falls in that same pit of animated series based off of a movie that's not as good as the movie. The characters are less likable than they are in the movie. Things are kind of like dumbed down. The stakes are lower. You know, it's just kind of going through the motions.
Naturally, the budget is way smaller.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with how it looked or anything. It's just,
It's more of a typical problem with this kind of show, if not this one in particular.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, maybe if you're like a huge fan of Tarzan for whatever reason, then, you know, probably like the show. But personally, I didn't find anything that special about it. It's not bad or anything, just I wouldn't watch any more of it. The Legend of the Three Caballeros. I'm also putting this one in, and this is kind of funny because I had just talked about a Disney animated show based off of one of their movies that gets a like TV show based off of it. And I said like, oh yeah, maybe if you're a huge fan of Tarzan, maybe you'll like this one. I am a big fan of the Three Caballeros, like the Disney characters from Saludos Amigos and the Three Caballeros, the Disney movies that came out like in the 1940s with these characters in them. I really liked the vibe of those, and so I was surprised that they made a TV show about them, and I just decided to watch the whole thing. I watched every episode of this one. They only made one season, and then it got canceled, and it's kind of odd, and it's different. It's just Donald Duck, Jose Carioca, and Panchito, the three characters from Three Caballeros. This is a different continuity. They meet together for the first time in this one. They inherit a house from their ancestors who used to like fight evil demons. And so now this show is about these three characters having to go around the world and fight demons. So pretty odd premise for like a Donald Duck show.
Sounds like a ripoff of Last Man.
I'm sure they have their differences. I mean, does Last Man have a talking Brazilian parrot character? No, I didn't think so. So that means that this show's better. I haven't
seen season 2, so it might.
You're right about that. But I liked it. I thought it was charming, but at the same time, I can't put it any higher than this, I don't think, just because of the quality of the writing, I would say. I do wish that it got a second season of it, though, because that was supposed to focus on Jose Carioca, the Brazilian parrot guy. I like that character. So I would have liked to see more of it, but overall, I'm still going to put it in this tier. The Legend of Zelda. I'm putting this in not very good. This is, of course...
Well, excuse me, princess.
This is, of course, based off of the video game The Legend of Zelda, except this one answers the question of what if Link had a voice and could talk, and then it makes you think, take his voice away. I don't like that. Go away.
What do you mean? He's Link. He's a sassy,
he's the hero.
Wisecracking, talkative, flirty. He's just like he is in the games.
Yeah. It's really funny because this guy would be the most annoying, insufferable person ever if it wasn't a cartoon based off of The Legend of Zelda. The fact that it is based off of The Legend of Zelda definitely gives it some points in its favor to make it like more ironically enjoyable.
So very much like not aligned with the properties it's based on. Kind of a lot like Captain N. Which there's a reason for that, given that these two shows did cross over and were by the same people. I think that shows like this are why Nintendo later got a lot pickier about who they gave their rights to for most of their characters and IPs. Although, God, if I don't wish that instead of giving the rights to Illumination, they just let, like, American cartoon companies churn out shit like this. It was amazing.
My hopes and dreams of Nintendo granting Cartoon Saloon the rights to make a Zelda movie. That would be so amazing.
Nah, wouldn't you rather see one by Illumination? They're very popular.
But yeah, Legend of Zelda the cartoon. The characters are annoying. The plot is kind of like all over the place. I'm gonna say generic action show from the late 1980s. Not very good. Legend Quest. Putting this one in A tier. Is a Mexican show about this kid whose village is overtaken by dark, evil, ghostly forces, and he has to team up with a ragtag group of ghosts to save the day. This one's got like an ongoing plot. Came out around the same time as like Gravity Falls, so I could, if there was any influence, I could probably see it in that. Overall, it didn't hook me. Maybe if I saw more of this show, I would like it more. I only watched the first episode and didn't think that much of it. Thought it was okay at best. So I know that some people do like this show, but maybe if I saw more of it and gave it a better chance, I'd like it more. But for now, it's in this tier. Now we got Legion of Superheroes. And I thought that this one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Superman as a teenager, and he gets taken to the future, and there's the future heroes who they doubt him. They're like, there's no way you're the legendary Superman. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what Superman is. And but yeah, he helps them fight the villains in the future and decides to stay there for a prolonged period of time to help them sort out whatever they got going on. But, you know, action is good, characters are alright. Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, overall, pretty good. This is, I'm a pretty big fan of the Legion of Superheroes in the actual comics, and this is like, I think aside from like some pretty bad DC animated movies, the only adaptation they have ever gotten aside from showing up in Justice League, but it's pretty good. It obviously dumbs it down a little bit so it can, appeal to a younger audience, but it's a pretty alright DC animated show. Not offensive at all. In fact, it's pretty good.
Lego Friends. I'm putting Lego Friends in pretty bad.
I remember very little about this one, but I do remember that it was really funny.
It was pretty funny, but that's just because of how bad it was. It kind of feels like one of those bad Barbie movies. Like, the show was made to sell toys to girls. You can tell it's one of those types of shows. Just like, it's like it's a girly girl show,
I mean, so was Gem, technically, but Gem is amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's like, you wouldn't understand. It's a cartoon made for girls. You wouldn't get it. We just spent the last episode spending, like, 8 minutes talking about how great the show Gem was, and that's basically the exact same thing. The same concept of a show trying to appeal and market towards girls. But that one was awesome. This one was just, like, laughably bad with how flat and generic and tropey the characters are. Like, this one's the smart one, and this one wants to be the singer. Yeah, this show, it is not good. It feels like a show made in like a boardroom with a bunch of executives sitting around. Be like, what can we make that would get girls to want to buy Legos?
I know, Lego Friends.
And this show, unlike all of the other Lego shows, this one does something interesting. See, all the other Lego shows, the characters look like Lego minifigures, but everything else around them is, like, looks real, or, CG animated, stylized, but not Lego. They look like actual objects not made of Lego. This show takes the opposite approach, where all of the characters look like CG animated non-Lego humans, but some of the stuff around them, not everything, but some stuff is just made up of giant Lego bricks.
How else are you gonna market the Lego sets about Lego friends?
Like the wine glasses are like the Lego wine glasses, and like sometimes the buildings are made up of Lego bricks, and sometimes they're not. They'll just do whatever they want. They don't care.
Imagine if a spiteful, evil witch cursed you with a horrible, horrible spell that made like only 25% of the reality you perceive be like filtered through your vision as being made out of Legos, but only like 25% of it. That's what this show is like.
Yeah, I would live through that horror through the lens of the Lego Friends TV show. Yeah, there's quite a few Lego shows. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know how many Lego TV shows there were. This next one is Lego Hero Factory. Now, I know that both Bionicle and Hero Factory, they're both under the same Lego umbrella, but this show is We Have Bionicles at Home. That's what this show is.
That was more or less Hero Factory's entire premise as like a Lego theme.
Yeah, so remember Bionicles? Well, here's this. Its show is way worse. Have fun. Remember, we made Bionicle.
Give us money.
And we got, this one's got Lego and The Legends of in its title. Lego The Legends of Chima. It's not very good.
Remember when they thought this was going to be the next Ninjago?
Yeah, in an alternate universe, you know, there would be no more Ninjago. Ninjago would have ended after season 2, and Chima would have like 14 seasons and a movie. But no, Chima was just, it was
it's a bad theme.
This is a thing that existed. They're all like animals. They're all like Lego furries, I guess, anthropomorphic
Lego
animals.
Thundercats?
Yeah, Lego Thundercats. You know, I think that Thundercats actually ripped off Lego Chima when you really think about it.
Where else do you think they came up with the idea for the character of Snarf?
Yeah, Lego Chima, it's, you know, it's one of those Lego 3D animated shows akin to Ninjago, but I don't know, Ninjago is kind of like lightning in a bottle. Chima never really caught on with anybody. I don't think it made more than 1 or 2 seasons. I've only seen 1 episode of it, so, you know, granted, I haven't seen that much of it, but I didn't like any of the characters in it. I didn't care about anything that was going on. Also, all of the voice acting is really bad, especially from the main character.
Get away from my Jeep! No!
I know that other Lego shows, their voice acting isn't super good either, but Chima, I couldn't take it.
They were really, really trying to push this theme hard in the early 2010s, which is around the age when I was really big into Lego. And even at the time, I just did not fucking care for Chima at all.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the entire Chima theme was like a really big financial flop for Lego. Not like a Galador level flop, mind you, but they did not make much money on it.
If only I could put Galador on this list.
Maybe we can recommend it when we get to the G's.
Oh, well, no, we already did the G's, and I don't plan on doing the recommendation once we get to the shows that actually have votes.
I was saying that as a joke.
Oh, okay. Let me go back in time. Let me activate my time machine and replace whatever we recommended that started with the letter G and do Galador.
What are you talking about? We've always done Galador. That's always what it is.
You know what? Actually, Legend of 1900, don't watch that. Watch Lego Galador. It's a live-action show. It's really bad. So much so that it's, like, ironically hilarious.
Man, it has the same vibe as another show that, now that I'm thinking about it, I really, really wish I had recommended for the letter A. Brazil, pull up the Animorphs clip.
Oh, God.
No, funniest thing happened to me last night. Some blue dude with 4 legs put me and a few other idiots trying to save the world.
Quiet. You want someone to hear you? What happened if that thing got him?
Well, there you go. That's the best instance of editing that's ever been in any piece of media.
Yeah, this episode's just going to be all over the place, but maybe it'll be a good thing once it's actually all edited together. Who knows? Next up, we got Lego Star Wars: The Freemaker Adventures. I'm putting this one in A tier. This is another CG Lego show. It's This one is like a Star Wars parody, though. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. Honestly, like, probably a good thing, because, you know, it's just a Lego Star Wars show meant for kids. About these 3 siblings who are scavengers living on the Wheel, the space station The Wheel, and they get roped in on a quest to find the very first lightsaber ever created, which makes you super strong and powerful. It's alright, you know, I only saw the first episode of it. Another thing I like about it is one of the main characters is just a repurposed battle droid that survived past the Clone Wars. The show takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, when they're building the second Death Star. But I like the battle droid character. I like that he's voiced by Matthew Wood. I like that Matthew Wood, the sound editor for Star Wars, has just voiced the battle droids in like everything that's ever come out since the Clone Wars. So, and I like that he's like 4th billing in this Lego Star Wars TV show. And also, this show was created by the same creators that made Ghost and Molly McGee, so, you know, that's fun. But overall, I mean, it's a tier show. You know, it's for a younger audience. It's okay. Alright, we're finally done with the Lego shows. Now we got The Life and Times of Juniper Lee. And I thought that this one was actually pretty good.
Fond memories of this show.
Yeah, I like the character Juniper Lee. She goes, there's like an underground monster world that's kept a secret from everybody else that she is privy to. And she just goes around and beating up like evil monsters. It's got a lot of good jokes. It's actually pretty funny. I was kind of surprised by it. I never watched this as a kid, so I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Juniper Lee ran so Gentry Chow could crawl.
Lilo and Stitch, the series. I'm putting this one in air. I did watch this one when I was younger. I do remember that on the Disney Channel. You know, overall, you know, it's not bad. It's not terribly great either on rewatch. It's just all right. It's a nice, cute little show. I, of course, love the Lilo and Stitch movie and the sequel to it. And then they made, what was it, Stitch the Movie, which I think was just like a feature-length pilot for this show. And you know, it deals with Lilo and Stitch hunting down all of the experimental aliens and keeping them locked up safe so they don't go around and cause a bunch of mischief everywhere. It's got a nice premise to it, but you know, it's Now the shows that have the word little in the title of them. So we got Little Bear. I'm also putting in A tier. It's a show for younger audiences. This anthropomorphic bear, his anthropomorphic animal friends. You know, it's like a chill, cozy little show, but I didn't get that much out of it. Do you have anything to say about Little Bear?
I remember Little Bear from when I was a toddler. I remember this is one that I liked. I mostly remember him for toothpaste commercial fame. It's alright, just like an inoffensive, like little cozy show for toddlers, but there's nothing too special about it.
Yeah, I heard that noise you just made. And yeah, this is Little Bill. I'm putting this one in not very good, and I feel kind of bad for it, because this is supposed to be another, you know, just like chill show for toddlers. And there is definitely traces of that, but I just feel uncomfortable watching this one.
Do you think Bill Cosby and his looming ghost over the show has something to do with it?
Yeah, I'd say that definitely has a lot to do with it. Contrary to popular belief, Little Bill is not supposed to be Bill Cosby. There's Little Bill in this show, and then his dad, Big Bill, so Bill Sr., and then Little Bill is Bill Jr. is the character. Big Bill is supposed to be Bill Cosby. Little Bill is supposed to be Bill Cosby's son, but like a much younger version of it. Behind the scenes, in real life, Bill Cosby's son, in real life, a few years before he made this show, his son was murdered. And then a few years later, you know, Bill Cosby made this show as sort of like a memorial to his late son, where Little Bill is his son, but a younger version of him. And so it literally feels like like a ghost haunts this show, and it just makes you feel uncomfortable in a way that's hard to describe.
There is just like a bad fucking juju surrounding this show, now that you've pointed that out. It's not good.
Yeah. So as much as like, I feel bad for putting this show as low as it is. I can't really put into words how uncomfortable I feel while watching it.
I don't feel bad about putting it here at all. I remember watching Little Bill as a kid, and there's this episode, right, where he's with his grandma, and he's like with his like little baby cousin, and the conflict of the episode, he's like angry at his grandma because she said she loves his like little baby cousin, and she loves Little Bill. I remember thinking at the time, even as like a 4-year-old, Bill's own age, I was thinking, does he not realize that people can love more than one person? Is he fucking stupid?
I don't know. I know that a lot of people, talented people, probably worked on this show other than Bill Cosby, but it's hard to shake that off. And next is Little Demon. I'm putting Little Demon in pretty good. The show came out post-COVID, so it's pretty recent. It's an adult animated sort of drama comedy. It does have that, that adult animated comedy sense of humor to it, where it can be very raunchy at times, but it's also got a lot of wit to it as well. It has an ongoing storyline. It's about this girl who is half human and half the daughter of the devil. She's the daughter of the devil and a human, and her dealing with that in modern real life is what the plot of the show is, and all the conflict that comes out of that, and the devil trying to persuade her to essentially ending the world and fulfilling like a prophecy that he created. And the devil is voiced by Danny DeVito in this show. The show does have some very good dramatic story moments in it. I'm especially talking about the Rats and Roaches episode that I am probably showing footage of right now. That single episode was what won me over on this show and really made me like it. Like, I still think about that one episode more than anything else out of the show, but I really enjoyed that episode. So I think that the show overall is pretty good. They only made one season of it, and it got canceled after that. I kind of wish it got renewed, but what are you gonna do?
Alas.
Everything getting canceled left and right. Now you got Little Einsteins. You know Little Einsteins.
Yeah, Little Epstein.
No.
Oh, sorry, I got the name wrong. What's this show about?
Oh, it's about these 4 little kids who have like a sentient rocket ship, and every episode, it's kind of formulaic, but something comes to them for help, and they go on a mission to save it through the power of art and music and culture. They go to different parts of the world. They do a piece of classical music in each episode. It's nice. It's a nice little piece of edutainment for children. I'm putting it in air, just because this is where I put like almost all the preschool shows, but I had a hard time deciding if I should put it here or in pretty good, just because it's definitely better than a lot of the preschool shows that are in this tier, I would say. It's got a nice charm to it. And now here's a show for younger audiences that it doesn't really have a good charm to it. It's Little Ellen.
I think this show being right next to Little Bill is right where it belongs.
I think it's hilarious that it is right next to Little Bill. This one actually is where it's supposed to be a child version of the comedian celebrity that made the show, Ellen DeGeneres. It's about her misadventures as a young child with her cousin and friend in the big city. None of the characters are really that likable. They're kind of annoying, actually. I like the art style. I'll give it that. It kind of reminds me of Molly McGee in a way, the art style. But I do not like this show. I don't like it. I know I got Littlest Pet Shop. They made a Littlest Pet Shop show. I'm putting this one in pretty bad. The human characters are all like really ugly and gross looking with their big ol' eyes. Yeah, I don't like how they look. The characters are annoying, especially a lot of the animal characters. The plot of this is kind of bonkers too, kind of wacky, kind of zany, of this teenage girl who lives next to a pet shop, and she's exploring around, she just moved into the place. She gets in a dumbwaiter and tries to go down, and the dumbwaiter like falls 3 stories and lands down at the ground and then she gets a brain injury from that fall she just had, and that brain injury allows her to understand animals, and now she can talk to these animals, and that's where the plot happens. So I think that's kind of funny of a way to get your power to talk to animals. Yet nobody else can understand animals in the show, just her, and that's how it happens.
Normally, I don't think they were dead the whole time theories, or like they dreamed it up, like those kinds of theories about cartoons hold any water. But the fact that like this whole show's plot hinges around the main character having a traumatic brain injury really does make you wonder if she's just fucking losing her mind.
Now we got Llamas with Hats, created by Film Cow, Jason Steele. This is a internet classic. I'm putting it in good tier. The show is short-lived. The episodes are only a couple minutes long. The whole thing is on YouTube, and it is hilarious. Like, this was a staple of internet culture when it came out.
Much like Charlie the Unicorn, which is made by the same creator, Jason Steele, who me and Brazil are both very big fans of. I think a lot of people have seen maybe the first couple episodes of this, but not the ones that came out many years later after those. And honestly, the same as we said with Charlie the Unicorn, I think that Jason Steele's later work is much stronger than his earlier stuff. And I think with Llamas with Hats, a lot of it's already like pretty good.
Yes,
yeah.
It definitely started off as just doing this to have like a fun little joke of what if there's like a silly llama wearing a hat and it kills somebody. And that being kind of, that's the joke. Just a funny back and forth between him and the other llama. And that's funny by itself, but then over time it goes into like this character study. Mainly the Carl the llama. It sounds silly, but the absurdity plays into it. It ends up being like a really good story by the end of it.
Film Cow, I think, is shockingly good at that. Telling legitimately good stories through the lens of shitposts. I think Detective Heart of America, which we've talked about, is a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Charlie the Unicorn, as well as Llamas with Hats, and Shadowstone Park, which we have not talked about yet.
I don't think I put Shadowstone Park on here, which is a shame.
But it is very obscure.
But yeah, Jason Steele's work is quite good, and I don't think that there's any more after this. I think Charlie the Unicorn and Llamas with Hats is the only of his series that I put up here. Those are his most popular works, I believe. Honestly, just anything by Jason Steele, just go ahead and put it up in good, probably.
Yeah.
Lloyd in Space. This one, it was pretty good. Standard Disney's animated little sitcom about this alien kid named Lloyd living on a space station, having to go to alien school. But for what it was pretty good.
It's much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the character Lloyd was actually quite likable, and there was, some good bits in the episode that we watched. Pretty good. Lola and Virginia. Garbage. Getting a lot of variety in this episode. We've had goods, and now we got a show all the way down in garbage. It is so bad. It's awful to look at. It's so ugly. It's so cheaply animated. And every character in here is insufferable. It's just about these two girls. One of them is super popular, and one of them is like a dork. But they are both evil, sociopathic idiots who hate each other and are basically just trying to sabotage each other. Every episode is them just trying to get one up on each other, and both of them are just so terribly unlikable and hateable. I think that's kind of the point of it, but still, like, its presentation of it is just abysmal to watch. I don't like a single thing about this show, and I don't even remember how it ended up on this tier list to begin with.
This one is surprising, because it looks very visually French, but it is actually a Spanish animated show. And I think it may be one of the only, if not the only, Spanish animated show on this tier list. And it is all the way down in garbage.
I think there's another one. I just forgot what it was.
Take that with a grain of salt. There may be another one, but we will get back to that when we get here.
Next is Long Live the Royals. And I thought that this one was pretty good. This is a very short show. It's only got 5 or 6 episodes of it. and it was a mini series that aired on Thanksgiving in around 2015. The creators of it worked on regular show, so it's got regular show in its DNA. You can tell that with the writing and the art style of it and the character designs. They did a great job with this show and just making it just a funny gag after gag type of show. It's like a sitcom of this medieval kingdom royal family, and they live in a medieval kingdom, but it does take place in the modern day. So they're just living in this kingdom. Everybody's dressed, like they're in medieval times, but they do have, some of them have cell phones. Like the teenager has a cell phone, and occasionally they'll just whip out modern technology, and it's kind of jarring every time that happens, just as like a reminder that it is in current day. But there's a lot of clever gags in it, and I like all the characters in it. I would recommend it just because it is a very short show.
I've only seen the one episode, but the one episode I saw, I did like.
Next up is Lunatics Unleashed.
Whoa!
I think it's not very good. This show is so baffling to me. I mean, I can understand this coming out in like the 2000s. They're like, what if there was the Looney Tunes characters, but it's in the future and everything is turned up to the extreme?
Extreme!
We're gonna give them super cool quantum superpowers, and they're gonna fight the forces of evil and save the world.
They're gonna have, like, cool names!
They are not like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. They have different names that I forgot. I forgot what their names are, but they're different. They are not the same characters.
Hold that thought. Let me look up what their names are right now so we can get, like, a refresher.
Yeah, in fact, I just watched, like, the intro that does say all of their names 2 days ago, just to get the footage that I'm showing right now, and I don't remember what their names were.
We've got Ace Bunny, descendant of Bugs Bunny. Lexi Bunny, descendant of Lola Bunny. Danger Duck. Slam Tasmanian. Tech E Coyote. And Rev Runner.
Awful.
This is such an incredibly 2000s thing, and it's really funny that it exists. I think it's very emblematic of the time in which it was made.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who like have nostalgia for this show. I didn't mean to.
I remember watching it on Kids WB, but like usually specifically to wait for it to be over to watch Legion of Superheroes or The Batman.
Yeah, I can understand why this was created. Just make a like dark, gritty, cyberpunk future of the Looney Tunes characters, but they get superpowers and fight like evil robots and whatnot. Yeah, I get it, but it was not good. It wasn't good. I only saw one episode of it though, so.
You know, fucking Tim Curry was in this show.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, he was kind of in everything in like the 2000s.
For a while,
yeah. Okay, this is the last one for this episode, Lucas Brothers Moving Company, and it's going in pretty good. Now, we have talked about shows before that have a great art style, but their terrible writing like brings it down to like not very good. Shows like Hero 108 and Kitty is Not a Cat. Like great art style, but just awful writing, so they go down. This one is the inverse of that. It's lowbrow, I would say, but it is very witty in how it is written. It's got a lot of great gags in it, and the character dialogue and interactions are superb. And the writing is great, but the art style is terrible. So I'm putting this all the way up in pretty good, just because of how good the writing and jokes are.
I genuinely love this show. Like, I've watched, I would say, probably the majority of this show at this point. Not all of it, but I plan to watch all of it. It's really funny. I like this show a lot. Now, looking at it, you kind of just think it's your standard shitty adult comedy animated series. And it is an adult comedy animated series, and it's not exactly highbrow. But it, like Brazil said, it is extremely witty, extremely funny. I love a lot of the premises for the episode, like Jake the Snake DDT episode. That one was amazing. It's really funny. Fucking Jake the Snake Roberts, like the WWE wrestler from the 80s is a major reoccurring character played by himself who appears in almost every episode. Even though he initially seems like he's just going to be a one-off gag. This show has great writing. I thoroughly enjoy Lucas Brothers Moving Company. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, this show, it answers the question of, you know all those like really shitty looking adult animated comedies that you see everywhere and you watch an episode of and it's awful? This answers the question of what if you saw one of those types of shows, but it actually was funny?
Well played, Dad.
Oh, no. You know you can't play Uno in my prison. That's the devil's game. Now, lights out!
Damn. I can't spend the rest of my life with that woman. That's why I left all of y'all in the first place.
Yeah, Mom's treating this prison like a what is she treating this like? It's like I think she's treating it exactly like a prison's supposed to be treated.
So I also like Lucas Brothers Moving Company a lot, and I did watch more of it after seeing one episode of it. So I would also recommend it. And that does it for this episode. It's all the L shows that had 0 votes. And next we go into the M's. So I'll be seeing you next time